Aries risings are the electricity of the zodiac. They can shock people, and they do this in a lot of different ways. People can be intimidated by them and can look at them and think that they are mad or angry, and be pleasantly shocked when the Aries rising is friendly to them. They also can be the quiet, go with the flow type, but the moment that you cross the line is the moment that they will let you know you did. They are not afraid to take charge and take a stand for someone or something that they love. They are the first sign of the zodiac, so they are often associated with being the newborn of the zodiac. And they can be the kitten who is brave enough to stand up against the mighty lion when provoked. And this can shock others because they haven't seen that side of the Aries rising before. What's up, my buttercups? How are my beautiful rams today? Y'all are a rare breed. You know, I don't see very many Aries risings when I do readings. In fact, did y'all know that in the northern hemisphere, Aries is actually one of the constellations that spends the shortest amount of time in the eastern horizon? So the ascendant in astrology is the same thing as your rising sign. And your rising sign is the constellation that was on the eastern horizon at the exact time of your birth. And the ascendant is an important part of your chart. It sets up your houses in astrology, and it gives you a lens in which to view the world and a lens for the world to view you in. Now, if you are a curious little critter like myself, then I invite you to watch my video about the true meaning of the ascendant. It's not really that long of a video, but it goes in more of a in-depth view about what the ascendant is in astrology. Today, we are going to focus on what it is like to have this placement with the Aries energy mixed in. So in mythology, Aries is associated with this ram that had a golden fleece. And this ram was called to go rescue two daughters from their evil stepmother. Well, this ram was fearless and confident and brave and charged into the city and rescued the two sisters. And these traits remind me of an evolved Aries rising. And I say evolved Aries rising because I look at the rising sign as the sign that you will rise into. It's kind of like a sliding scale. On one end, you have unevolved Aries, and on the other end, you have evolved Aries. And you were born somewhere on this scale. Now, I'm not here to tell you where you are at on this scale. I'm here to teach you what the scale is so that you can become aware of how to get yourself to more evolved states of this placement. And having to get yourself to the place that you want to be in life is all too familiar to an Aries rising. My evolved Aries can be direct, straightforward, and fearless little rams. I mean, they are the ones that are not afraid to fart in front of you. They just don't care. And they can sometimes have what I call diarrhea of the mouth because they can say some things that would just be better left unsaid. But they can't help it. They are very direct and a very honest sign. And some people will appreciate this about them, and some people are going to be offended by this. An evolved Aries rising can be considered to be kind of selfish sometimes because they don't care how you react. It doesn't really affect them. It reminds me of a Morgan Freeman interview I read one time. He lives in Mississippi, and you know, a lot of actors can live in the bigger cities of the United States. So an interviewer asked him one time if he gets asked for autographs in his smaller town. And he said, of course he does. And that people will come up to him and say, can you sign this for me? You know, my wife or aunt or husband is never going to believe me when I tell them I met you. And the interviewer asked him, well, do you sign the autographs? And Morgan said, no, that basically if your wife or husband or whomever doesn't believe you when you tell them, then you've got bigger issues at home. Can you see how his response could offend some? But he's being authentic to who he is. And at the end of the day, he really doesn't care what your opinion on him is. And Aries goes through a hero's journey in life. They start out as the drummer boy, drumming to what others tell them to do until they turn into a warrior and gain independence from others. And then they move towards being a general and leading other soldiers. Now, what house Mars is in and what sign and how it's aspected will play a huge role in this person's chart. A person with Mars and Aries conjunct the Ascendant will be radically different than, let's say, an Aries Ascendant with a Pisces Mars in the 4th house. This video is a very general reading over one aspect in your chart. You have to look at the whole chart to get the details of the energies involved. My Aries risings typically have a pioneering energy about them. They often can be the first one in their family to do something. Maybe they were the first one to go to college, or their parents were immigrants and they were the first generation born in the new country. They could very well be the very first daredevil in their family, the first one to skydive. Maybe the family did a certain occupation for generations on end and the Aries rising decides to go their own way into a totally different career. Aries risings usually are not afraid to try new things and to eat new foods and to travel new places. And their childhood revolved around nurturing in some way. Now, this can manifest in a few different ways. They could grow up in households where there is a predominant figure that raised them or nurtured them, and usually it's a female or someone with a more feminine energy. But they can grow up in these environments where they are nurtured and supported, and they may find that they are more stubborn than a parent. So a parent can give in to them, although the Aries rising may not see it this way. They have the opportunity to grow up in some stable environments with this placement. Ron Howard, who played Opie on the Andy Griffith Show, he has Aries rising, and he often talks about how his mom and dad supported him throughout life. And then you can have it manifest in the completely opposite way. Some Aries risings are born into families where one parent has left or passed away, and the responsibility is put on the other parent. They very well can be raised in single mom households where they are shown by example how to be independent, or they're left on their own a lot while she works. And often the mom can't handle the responsibility. So you do see Aries risings being raised by other female members of the family. Like I said, Morgan Freeman has this placement, and he was born in Memphis, Tennessee, but his mom went to work in Chicago, and Morgan stayed with his grandma in Mississippi until she passed away. And then he went to go live with his mom. John Lennon also had an Aries rising, and his dad was absent from his life as well. And his mother couldn't handle motherhood, so she sent him to go live with his aunt and uncle. Shakira also has an Aries rising, and she had to live with her grandparents for a time when she was a child. Or it can manifest as a little bit of both. You know, Shaquille O'Neal is an Aries rising, and he was born to a teen mom, and his dad got locked up and, didn't really have anything to do with him. But his mom refused to let anyone raise her son, so she struggled for a while and married his stepdad. And his stepdad stepdad was able to provide a more stable life. And after things did stable out, Lucille, who is Shaquille O'Neal's mom, said that he used to play all kinds of sports, but slowly she realized that he was good and needed to be nurtured, so they really supported him in sports. And if an Aries rising comes from a single parent home, they usually had to learn how to take care and nurture themselves. That's why they are so good about not needing help from anyone, and they can stand alone. A wonderful benefit that an Aries rising has is that they can get the ball rolling and make stuff happen for themselves. They can be driven if they want to be. They want to satisfy their desires, and they are not afraid to pursue what they want. However, they are the ones that may face hurdles when going after what they want. But the amazing thing about an Aries rising is if they fall down 7 times, they get back up 8. Which reminds me, I actually created this adult coloring book because I wanted something that had meaningful quotes in it, and that is actually a quote that is in that coloring book. Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. And you can get this coloring book on Amazon for $8.99, and it's filled with life advice from Grandma. Anyways, my little Rams value money and the things involved with the 5 senses. They can love the pleasures that life has to offer, and they usually are extroverted. Again, you have to look at everything, but they usually are the ones that got the note on the report card that they talk too much in class. They are really connected to their roots in their family, and with this placement you can find that they may have taken a lot of short trips in childhood. Now, I have a friend with this placement, and she doesn't even realize that she took so many short trips in her life. You know, I don't ever think that there was a week that she didn't leave the county or the city that we lived in at least once. And she was used to it, so she never even noticed until one day I told her, I was like, you do realize that some people have never left this city their entire life. They aren't afraid of going new places and exploring these little Aries risings. But I will say it is possible that this native has ADD or ADHD or lots of squirrel moments, like I like to call them. When you're talking to them or traveling with them, you can notice these things pop up. And they can love risk or taking a chance or gambling. And they can just have this love of having fun and for others around them to be having fun. They can be the cool aunt and the uncle that does the fun stuff with the little ones in their life. Like I said, they are the babies of the Zodiac, so they relate to their energy. And you can find Aries risings in a career that involves little ones. And when they are evolved, they can be quite protective over their little ones, but also love doing experiences with them. They are the parents that will be outside doing stuff with their kids. And as far as partners go, an Aries rising can attract some partners who may not be able to stand up for themselves or be needy or codependent. I mean, they are going to attract some partners who are looking for someone to show them how to be confident and be bold and to lead. And they just aren't going to be those things yet. Aries naturally go through these trials in life that make them more fearless and more confident. But they are brought together with their partner because the partner and the Aries rising are looking for a strong connection. And Aries risings want a partner, and it's not because they can't stand alone, because I'm telling you, they are the ones that can head into battle and come out leading the pack. They are looking for this deep sexual connection. I mean, Scorpio rules their 8th house. So they can be protective lovers who do not want to share their partner with anyone if they are in love. They also may struggle with intimacy and vulnerability. They also aren't afraid to be the sugar babies in the Zodiac. They aren't necessarily opposed to having a sugar mama or a sugar daddy. But also with this 8th house Scorpio, they can handle crisis situations well. I mean, they're great at taking action on a short notice. They're impulsive and love getting their adrenaline pumping. They can like action movies or blowing things up or target practicing. You know, at work, Aries risings, they don't do well if they have an authority figure that they do not respect. There can be headbutting, rams that butt heads. But they can also be a playful, fun coworker, and they can listen to authority as long as they respect what you say. But abuse at the job can happen, whether it's this Aries rising is the boss in doing it or they are the employee and receiving it. Now, one thing I do want to tell my little Rams is just watch out for overconsumption of drugs and alcohol. Those things can be fun and exciting and thrilling to an Aries rising at first, but they can become addicting or even used as a coping mechanism or a way to escape. So as an Aries rising, how has this energy manifested for you in your life? I want to know all about it. What have you stood up for in your life? You know, that reminds me of Morgan Freeman again. He really embodies his Aries rising. He was in New York one time and he traveled to San Francisco and he started to perform for a small music company. And he actually got fired because during the play or the performance, he refused to carry the flag because he was playing a Native American. He just wouldn't do it. He didn't care how much he was getting paid. He told them that it wasn't right and he wasn't doing it because he had read too much history. Now tell me that ain't a bold move. Aries risings do not suck up to anyone to get anywhere in life. They will do it their own way. It is beneath them to do such things. And one other thing, they are observant little Rams too. They are always picking up information in their environment. So if you have your Aries rising and you want to learn more about yourself, then I invite you to watch my playlist that has aspects to the natal chart. You can learn all about yourself. Anyways, my gorgeous Rams of the Zodiac, I have enjoyed unpacking what it means to have your rising in Aries. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Mwah!